Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a treat.
That's right, folks. Today is Taco Tuesday, where we celebrate America, Americanism, and American cuisine. Now, I'll be honest with you, tacos may not necessarily be, quote, quote, just American, but Taco Tuesday, uniquely American. I dare you to challenge me on that one. Anyway, we're going to have a good time. It's just going to be us today. Mike's not going to be with us, but you're here. I'm here. Go ahead and comment if you're watching us live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching us live, go ahead and comment. And if we find what you have to say to be interesting, we'll go ahead and we'll share it with our audience. And if not, well, we won't. That's just kind of the way it's going to go. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and jump right into the program. Oh, wait, before we do, got to do what we got to do. You know what that is. Got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries. You can find them at hitmanindustries.net. If you are looking to do a brand new build, or maybe you're looking to rebarrel your current rifle, I can think of no better place for you to start than hitmanindustries.net. They have rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you at any length. In fact, if you've purchased an AR recently, chances are you already are enjoying one of their barrels. Might as well do it again. Check them out today. Once again, hitmanindustries.net. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives, not just Republicans, but conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Just go to cragop.org. That's cragop.org. Check them out right now. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters. They have the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market. You will find them at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And by the way, if you go there, you buy what you're going to buy your holster, make sure you use discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, and get a discount on us. Get your Hog holster today. Then we've got the best in the best in tactical gear available on the market. In fact, they have all things except the gun. If you are a purchasing agent for your club, for your unit, for your department, folks, this is the place you need to go. Whether you're looking for outdoor gear, wet weather gear, hot weather gear, they've got all things tactical except the gun. They've got phenomenal selection, huge selection, phenomenally competitive pricing, and great customer service. Check them out today, uscombatgear.com. All right, talking about being innovative, I got to tell you, the Trump administration has really topped themselves with their level of creativity and their innovativeness. You might remember that there was an app that Biden had put out or had put together that was a way in which to help people basically enter the country illegally, for lack of a better term. By utilizing this app, in his eyes, well, you are applying for amnesty, and therefore it could just get fast-tracked right into the United States. In some cases, they were even using it to schedule flights, help people schedule flights to, once again, cross the border into the United States. He was using it to facilitate illegal immigration. Well, something interesting has happened. That's right. His app has been hijacked, shall we say, or repurposed. There you go. I like that one better. It's been repurposed by the Trump administration. Now, this app is now being used to help people to be the CBP1 app is now being used as a self-deportation tool. Right. The Trump administration relaunched the Biden administration's smartphone application used by nearly 1 million migrants to enter the United States as a self-deportation tool dubbed CBP Home. Oh, I love that. Anyway, The new application will offer several features, including allowing illegal aliens to declare an intent to self-deport and leave the country. On Monday, CBP announced the relaunch in a press release listing a few new functions. President Trump ended the previous application, CBP-1, immediately after his inauguration in January. The new application will still allow non-immigrant aliens to apply for and pay fees for an I-94, a temporary travel permit allowing visitors to travel beyond 25 miles from the border for periods no longer than 72 hours. And that's, if you look here, if you're watching the video, you see here it's got Kristi Noem, it's got their story from Fox News, but they're once again reporting that the Trump administration has once again relaunched the app as a way in which for people to basically declare that they are self-deporting. Now, this is the sort of innovation that we need from a president. Once again, he didn't go and pay somebody to create a new app. He literally just repurposed what was already in existence. And, once again, this was a way, and this is something that people really need to understand. The use of this app did not make them legal immigrants. All right. They still are using them to apply for amnesty, whether they are qualified or not. But it was a way in which to circumvent the legal immigration process. Anybody who does not know or understand that that's exactly what Biden was doing or the Biden administration was doing, they're either being dishonest or they really were operating in ignorance. I am so glad to see this happening. And once again, we've already seen the successes that he's having because already illegal immigration at our southern border is at an all-time low. All-time low. It's down like 90 to 92% is how far down it is now, how far down it has gotten. And, for people who said that, this was going to happen no matter who was president, well, nanny boo-boo, guess what? It's not happening under Trump's presidency. For those who said that you needed, they needed an act of Congress, Joe Biden, who said you needed an act of Congress in order to make this happen. Well, guess what? Once again, nanny boo-boo, he's doing it, and all he did was issue an executive order and a press release, and people decided, yeah, we're not going to do that. I mean, how hard can it be? It's not that hard, folks. It really isn't. When you get government out of it, you get the usual government actors out of it, and you start applying people who are used to being innovative, all of a sudden, stuff starts to happen. Anyway, moving right along to our next story, the GOP is pushing the Trump spending bill. And they're having, I'll be honest, they're having a hard time doing it. This is it's a continuing resolution. But it basically is going to be for 6 months. So we're not talking 60 days or 30 days, 60 days or 90 days. It's a full blown 60-day or 6 month spending resolution. And here's the story, the article over at Fox News. It says Vance pitches GOP rebels on Doge border in 11th hour plea for unity against the shutdown. Vice President J.D. Vance told House Republicans that putting a government funding bill up for a vote today was critical to President Donald Trump keeping the lights on for his border security goals and the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Two lawmakers present at the closed-door meeting on Tuesday morning said DOGE and the border were part of Vance's pitch to Republicans who were still undecided about the bill. One lawmaker said Vance also signaled that future federal spending cuts could be on the table at a later date, a similar pitch House Freedom Caucus leaders made to fellow fiscal conservatives. Now, this is important, and I thought I had the story up. Well, I guess I didn't. Anyway, but this is why this is important, folks. What the current spending bill does is it freezes spending at 2024 levels. I'm sorry, all non-defense level spending, right? All non-defense level spending. Well, right now, there's at least one Republican who said that they're flat out not voting for it because it still increases spending. and that is Thomas Massie. Now, Trump came out and did he did a truth, basically calling for someone to primary Massie and all of that because, I'll put it to you this way. His indication was that this is a guy who's trying to grandstand and is getting in the way of real reform. And I won't disagree that he's getting in the way of real reform, but this is a guy who is probably one of the most principled Republicans and one of the most conservative leaders or members we've had. His opposition is based on the fact that it still increases spending and there still aren't cuts that need to happen. And I get it. I disagree with him because I think that this bill is a step in the right direction. And I believe an 80% win is better than a 100% loss. Anyway, Democrats are fully coming out and they're not doing anything to help Republicans. So they're not going to vote for this at all. So you have to have every single Republican on board, right? The only way in which this thing passes, I think you can lose one. I don't know exactly where the majority falls right now, but I think you can lose one, but you can't lose many more than one. So then the question is someone who is more disingenuous, someone who is going to hold the Republican caucus or hold the Republicans hostage in order to get something that they want, is that something that's going to wind up becoming a reality? And trust me, it could become a reality. If they need to go and they need to get Democrats, they may wind up having to give even more than it is that they want to give. I don't understand why we can't see that at least freezing spending for 6 months, letting DOGE continue their work, letting the border process continue to play out, and we'll see cost savings there as well. In the meantime, DOGE is eventually going to make their move over to the areas where we really need them, and that is going to be looking at the entitlement programs, looking at the Department of Defense. And then they're going to be able to come out with some spending that I think Democrats are going to have a very hard time saying no to. Even in the Defense Department, some Republicans, some of those war hawks, some of those the people who are the neocons, they're going to have a hard time saying no to, because DOGE is going to expose them. There has not been an entity that they have gone into where they have not been able to expose some waste, fraud, and abuse. So give them that opportunity. Don't take the spotlight off of that. Once again, even a 70% win is still a win. I could see if we're further along in the process. I could see if we were in his administration. If we were 2 years in, I could see your point. If we were closer to an election, I could see your point. But right now, we have a chance to freeze spending, except for we have a chance to freeze non-defense spending. And keep the spotlight on the border. Keep the spotlight on what DOGE is doing. I think that's what we need to be doing. But I also do think, the president should not be talking about trying to primary somebody who, once again, if this were Matt Gaetz, I'd be like, he's kind of trying to be a publicity hound. But this ain't Matt Gaetz. This is a guy who is I would probably say more libertarian than conservative, but someone who is committed to principles that we happen to believe in. Anyway, there's a lot of pressure on them right now to get this thing done before there's a government shutdown. And the reason why, let's just be real, every single time there's a government shutdown, do you know who takes the blame? Republicans. Republicans take the blame. And if they wind up taking the blame because this doesn't pass, it's going to be because of one Republican. But the entire Republican Party, including the Trump administration, are going to be the ones to take the blame. Anyway, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that winds up panning out. And by the way, none of the Democrats who say that they want fiscal accountability are going to support this budget, even though it is fiscally responsible. They're not going to do it at all. Interesting story on this one. Recently, there have been a lot of attacks on Elon Musk and on his companies. One of those companies being X. And one of the things that has been noted recently is there have been significant attacks, cyber attacks on X. But the source of those and the location of where those attacks are coming from seems to be quite interesting.
There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced.
Yes.
It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
So once again, he was very clear. The attack originated out of Ukraine, and once again, I find this to be very, very interesting. One has to wonder what the point of them coming out of Ukraine is. Well, I don't think one has to wonder. I think we know. But let me read a little bit from the story here. It says Elon Musk claimed that IP addresses connected to a massive cyber attack on X, which caused significant outages throughout Monday, originated in Ukraine. In an interview with Fox Business Network host Larry Kudlow, Musk admitted that they were still not sure exactly what happened. There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut down and may have been foreign sourced, Kudlow said. Well, we just heard that part. I said Breitbart News's Lucas Nolan reported that while a group known as Dark Storm Team claimed responsibility for the attacks on social media platform, this has not been independently verified. Quote, speculation about the cause of the outages began to circulate, with some users suggesting that X might be a target of a series of distributed denial of service attacks, or DDoS. These attacks involve flooding a website or service with an overwhelming amount of traffic, rendering it inaccessible to legitimate users. A group known as Dark Storm claimed responsibility for the attacks on social media, but these claims have not been independently verified. Around 6 a.m., the first outage on X occurred, with roughly 20,608 outages reported, according to Down Detector. At 6:17, there were 720 reports of outages on X. The outages on social media platform appeared to have stopped until around 9:30 a.m. Now, why is it important, or why would one believe that this would come or originate out of Ukraine? Well, part of this is first of all, let's understand that Ukraine used to be a part of the Soviet Union, all right? And the people who work in, whether we want to call it in the clandestine services there in Ukraine, they are just as they were trained Soviet operatives, right? They know how this stuff works, and they know how to use propaganda. They know how to use cyber attacks, just like anyone from Russia would know how to use these attacks. One would argue that the level of corruption that exists in Ukraine is the same as it is there in Russia. One would argue simply because, once again, I won't say born out of, but they both came from the Soviet Union. I'll say this, and I've experienced this at least here in the United States, how there are many of my friends who are Ukrainian, who I know are good people, good God-loving, God-fearing, America-loving people who are conservative, who now literally hate Donald Trump because Donald Trump is not 100% sold out, give Ukraine whatever they want. And they now have likened him to Hitler. They now have likened him to Stalin. They have made all sorts of accusations about him based on his position on one issue, because he's not 100% solely in their corner, because he was mean to their president. Anyway, I know them. I know they mean well. I know the Ukrainians mean well, but they have one issue right now that they're concerned with and they're dealing with. And if it means going after the president and those who support the presidents, they will do that. And they've proven that they will do that. I think it's a dangerous thing if that proves that. If this turns out to be something that is proven, I can guarantee you that President Trump is going to make sure that Ukrainian president goes after whoever is behind these things, behind these cyber attacks. Because X is the one platform that we have that we know does not feature censorship by the left. And therefore, on top of the fact that, he and Trump seem to be, boys now. I don't think that they're going to be, that he's going to be okay with that. So y'all better check yourself. Y'all better keep from doing that stuff. That's just bad juju. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. And then finally, for those of you who did not know, President Trump, his declaration of the removal of DEI and not funding those who promote DEI or racially divisive things. Well, he has been, one of the things that's happened is there's a thing called Black Lives Matter Square Plaza that exists in Washington, D.C. that Mayor Bowser had literally put up overnight. Well, guess what? Yeah, it's being torn down. Yeah, what's funny is it's going to take them longer to I don't know why they just don't paint over it, right? But it's going to take them longer to take all of that stuff up than it took them to put it down. You might recall she actually did that in the middle of the night. She literally went out there and had it done under some sort of an emergency funding. It was the oddest thing, the way in which she did that, because it wasn't an emergency. It was literally done in protest. Of the whole George Floyd of the whole George Floyd thing, and now that we know that Black Lives Matter, has taken the money that was given to them, done absolutely nothing except promote a political agenda and buy and fund and finance their own lavish lifestyles. Obviously, it is no longer popular. Obviously, it's no longer popular to do stuff like that. So they're realizing, we'd rather have our federal funds than have Black Lives Matter Square. So evidently, in their eyes, Black lives don't matter as much as they said it did to them, because they're evidently ripping up whatever they had out there. Funny stuff. Anyway, folks, that brings us now to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. We know how much y'all love lists, so we got a list here today. And this one is an interesting one because, as a person who is pro-life and is often debates with people who are on the pro-abortion side, it's always good to have arguments. And so we figured we would give some of the pro-abortion folks, because usually we kick their butts in the arguments. So we thought we would give them some arguments that they can then turn around and use. And this comes to us by our friends over at the Babylon Bee. Fake news that you can trust. 10 irrefutable pro-abortion arguments to destroy your pro-life friends. Oh, you guys are going to love some of these. 1, babies are just parasites. They're literally the exact same thing with no difference whatsoever. This is one that I have actually heard or seen. I've seen it on social media. I've yet to come across somebody who's actually willing to voice this out loud in their own voice, but you know how people are on social media. The ancient Mayans killed lots of babies, and look how great things turned out for them. If they did it, so should we. That's another argument. And by the way, yes, child sacrifice was a part of the Mayan culture, and yet it was kind of bad. Yeah, Mayans no longer exist. So I don't know how good that argument is, but it's one that they've used. You're racist. Well, of course you're going to call someone racist because they don't support the killing of children of color, which, by the way, black women, for example, make up only about 10 to 13% of the adult female population, yet they represent about 35 to 40% of all abortions. But liberals would call that genocide, but who am I? Anyway, number 4, having a baby goes right to your hips. Well, that is kind of true. Your life is supposed to be all about you, isn't it? Yeah, that's the way. That's one of the arguments. Oh, here's another one. The baby might not be rich enough to afford the latest iPhone, because in here in the United States, that's what happens. Is poverty is judged by the which iPhone you happen to have. If you have Android, you're just considered to be poor. Babies make you miss out on Friday nights getting blackout drunk at the club. Babies are a serious buzzkill. Yeah, that's an argument that they might use, and you might work with some of your younger folks. I don't know about your older folks. Babies are basically womb colonizers. That's the new woke DEI argument. The feminist argument is that, yeah, babies are womb colonizers. You have a duty to fight back against the spread of colonial oppression. Number 8, if you make a person, someday that person will die. So therefore, you're guilty of killing them, right? Of course, you made someone to die, of course. Elon Musk is already having enough kids for all of us. Okay, that might be an illegitimate argument. That might be. He's up to what, 14 now? He took that whole fruitful multiply thing seriously. Elon Musk is already having enough. Oh, I already said that. I already said that one. Number 10, that was number 9. Number 10, if you have a baby, your life might be filled with love and smiles and baby giggles. Who wants that? Yeah, those are legitimate pro-life or pro-choice, pro-abortion arguments, ways in which to encourage your pro-life friends that they really shouldn't be supporting innocent life. Anyway, that now brings us to our parting shots. We just did parting shots. What am I talking about? Anyway, that brings us to the end of our program. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, encouraging your friends to tune in. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Not Throat Punch Thursday. I am just like really off today, folks. I apologize. Tomorrow will be hump day. Once again, y'all have fun. Y'all stay safe. We will talk to you tomorrow.